I want you to picture a landscape where the earth has been stripped of all its softness. This is the American Southwest. It's a place of red iron rock, blinding white sun, and silence that feels heavy enough to crush you. But if you dig down just a few feet into that parched, cracked crust, you find something that shouldn't exist. You find the color of water. You find the fossilized blue of the sky. Turquoise is, chemically speaking, a happy accident. It's a hydrated phosphate of copper and aluminum. It forms when water trickles through host rock, picking up copper and aluminum, and then settles into cracks and voids to harden over millions of years. It's literally the memory of water in a place that has forgotten rain. For a gemologist, it's a soft stone. It's only a 5 or a 6 on the Mohs hardness scale. You can scratch it with a knife. It's porous. It drinks up oils and sweat. It changes color over time. It's chemically fragile. But this fragility is exactly why it conquered the world, because it reacts to its owner. It was seen as alive. From the high mesas of Arizona to the high-end jewelry districts of Tokyo, this blue stone created a trade route that defies logic. It connected the Navajo silversmith to the Japanese collector, bridging two cultures that look nothing alike on the surface, but share a deep spiritual obsession with the imperfections of nature. Let's start at the source, because you have to understand the geology to understand the value. The American Southwest is one of the few places on Earth where the conditions are perfect for high-grade turquoise. You need to know the names. If you're a serious collector in Osaka or Kyoto, you already know them. You whisper them like holy words. Bisbee, Kingman, Sleeping Beauty, number 8, and the Holy Grail, Lander Blue. Each mine produces a stone with a distinct fingerprint. The Bisbee mine in Arizona produces a deep electric blue with a chocolate brown matrix. It looks like a storm cloud trapped in resin. The Sleeping Beauty mine produced a stone so clear, so perfect, it looks like blue plastic. It has no matrix, it's pure sky. But the most valuable, the most sought-after stone in the Asian market isn't the clear stuff. It's the opposite of perfection. It's Lander Blue. The Lander Blue mine in Nevada was what miners call a hat mine. That means the deposit was so small you could literally cover it with a hat. It produced less than 110 pounds of high-grade turquoise in its entire history. It's incredibly rare. The stone is a deep dark blue with a tight black spiderweb matrix. To the uneducated eye, that black web is a flaw, it's iron, it's host rock, it's dirt. But to the true gemologist, that matrix is the fingerprint. It proves the stone is real. It proves it came from the earth and not a laboratory. It creates a contrast that looks like lightning striking a midnight sky. Before the Japanese collectors arrived, there were the tribes, the Navajo, the Zuni, the Hopi, the Santo Domingo. For thousands of years, long before the Spanish arrived with their silver coins, the native peoples of the Southwest were mining turquoise. The Cerrillos mine near Santa Fe is one of the oldest mining sites in North America. Archaeologists have found stone hammers there dating back to 600 AD. To the Zuni, turquoise is the sky stone. They believe that blue turquoise represents the male energy of the sky, while green turquoise represents the female energy of the earth. It's a binary system of creation held in your hand. The Navajo, or Diné, have a different relationship with it. For them, turquoise is protection. It's a shield. If you look at a traditional squash blossom necklace or a heavy silver cuff, you see the stone set in a bezel. But listen to the sound of the craft. The Navajo learned silversmithing from the Spanish in the mid-19th century. They took the Mexican coins, melted them down, and hammered them into ingots. The rhythm of the Navajo smith is the rhythm of the hammer. They developed a style called tufa cast, where they carve a design into volcanic stone and pour molten silver into it. The result is a texture that looks like sandstone. When you set a smooth blue turquoise cabochon against that rough gray silver, you're creating a map of the desert. You're placing the water against the rock. This wasn't just fashion. A Navajo hunter would attach a piece of turquoise to his bow to ensure his aim was true. A Zuni carver would create a fetish, a small animal carving, out of turquoise to capture the spirit of the animal. This was practical magic. It was a tool for survival. It was a way to carry the favor of the gods in your pocket. So, how did this desert stone end up in the high-end display cases of Ginza and Harajuku? It started after World War II. The American occupation of Japan brought with it American culture. Jeans, rock and roll, and the image of the West. But the Japanese appreciation for turquoise goes deeper than just mimicking American style. It resonates with a core concept in Japanese aesthetics called wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi is the appreciation of the imperfect, the impermanent, and the incomplete. It finds beauty in the crack in the tea bowl, the moss on the rock, the withered leaf. Turquoise is the ultimate wabi-sabi gem. Think about that spiderweb matrix again. That black iron webbing running through the blue. It's chaotic, it's random, it's imperfect. A diamond is valued for its lack of flaws. A diamond is sterile. But a piece of number 8 turquoise with its golden brown matrix is a landscape. It has character. Japanese collectors understood this immediately. They saw the spirit in the stone. While American buyers in the 1970s often wanted clear blue stones, Japanese buyers began buying up the heavy matrix stones. They recognized that the matrix told the story of the stone's creation. They valued the geology. Today, some of the finest collections of vintage Native American jewelry aren't in Santa Fe or Scottsdale. They're in Japan. Collectors there treat these pieces with the same reverence they would show a samurai sword or a tea ceremony bowl. They study the hallmarks of the artists. They can distinguish a Charles Loloma inlay from a Julian Lovato cuff at a glance. They understand that the artist wasn't just making a bracelet. He was making a composition of color and texture that reflected the world around him. Let's get back to the gemology for a moment, because there's a scientific reason why turquoise feels so alive. Turquoise is a hydrous phosphate. That means it contains water in its chemical structure. If you heat turquoise to a high enough temperature, it loses that water and turns a dull green or white. It dies. But it also reacts to the environment. It is porous. If you wear a natural, untreated turquoise ring every day, it will absorb the oils from your skin. It will absorb the lotion you use. It will absorb the sweat of your labor. Over 50 or 60 years, a bright blue stone will slowly turn into a deep, rich green. Collectors call this the patina of wear. In the Native American tradition, this color change was interpreted spiritually. If a stone cracked or changed color suddenly, it was believed that the stone had taken a hit for you. It had absorbed a misfortune that was meant for the wearer. It sacrificed itself. In the scientific view, it's a chemical reaction, but the result is the same. The stone records the life of the owner. A diamond looks the same the day you buy it and the day you die, but a piece of turquoise ages with you. It gets darker, richer, more complex. It has a memory. It's worth noting that while Japan is the modern hub for the turquoise trade in Asia, there is an ancient tradition just across the mountains. In Tibet, turquoise is also revered, but the aesthetic is different. The Tibetan turquoise is usually green, often with a heavy black matrix, and unlike the polished cabochons of the American Southwest, Tibetan turquoise is often worn as smooth, rounded beads or large, rough chunks. The Tibetans, like the Navajo, believe the stone is alive. They call it the sky stone as well. They believe that a piece of turquoise will lose its color if the owner becomes sick, and regain it when they recover. This shows us that the human reaction to this stone is universal. Whether you're on the high plateau of the Himalayas or the high desert of Arizona, when you see that blue-green color coming out of the gray earth, you recognize it as something sacred. You recognize it as a piece of the heavens that has fallen down to us. It bridges the gap between the terrestrial and the celestial. Today, the turquoise trade is a complex web. The great American mines like Lander Blue, number 8, and Bisbee are mostly closed. They're played out. The turquoise coming out of the ground today is often stabilized, which means it's impregnated with epoxy to make it hard enough to cut. This has made natural, untreated American turquoise exponentially more valuable. A single carat of high-grade Lander Blue can cost more than high-grade gold. It has become an investment-class asset. For the gemologist, the challenge is identification. How do you tell the difference between a piece of stabilized Kingman and a piece of natural Sleeping Beauty? You have to look at the matrix, you have to look at the zonal color distribution. You have to look for the telltale plastic sheen of stabilization under magnification. But for the enthusiast, for the person who simply loves the stone, it comes down to the feeling. When you hold a piece of natural turquoise, it feels cold, it feels dense, it feels like a small weight in your hand that anchors you to the ground. The trade relationship between the American Southwest and Japan has actually saved the industry in many ways. When the American market for turquoise dipped in the late 20th century, the Japanese market kept the fires burning. They funded the artisans. They kept the demand for high-quality rough stone alive. They treated the Navajo and Hopi silversmiths like rock stars. There are stories of famous Navajo artists visiting Japan and being greeted by crowds of fans who knew every piece they had ever made. It's a beautiful example of cultural exchange. It's not about appropriation, it's about appreciation. The Japanese concept of minge, or folk craft, aligns perfectly with the Native American tradition. Both cultures value the hand of the maker. Both cultures value the material. Both cultures understand that an object has a soul. We also have to talk about the cut. The way a stone is cut changes its personality. In the Victorian era, turquoise was often cut into small, perfect rounds, like pearls. It was civilized. It was tamed. But the Native American lapidary artists didn't want to tame the stone. They wanted to display it. They cut free-form cabochons that followed the natural shape of the nugget. They left the matrix in. They didn't try to hide the host rock, they framed it. This reverence for the natural form is what resonates so deeply with the Asian market today. When you look at a Japanese tea garden, it's designed to look natural, but every rock and tree is placed with intent. A Navajo bracelet is the same. The silverwork, the stamping, the bezel, it's all there to serve the stone. It's a frame for a painting made by Geology. There's a lesson here for all of us, whether we are gemologists or just people who like beautiful things. The lesson of turquoise is that value doesn't come from perfection. Value comes from story. Value comes from history. A piece of flawless blue plastic is perfect, but it's worthless. A piece of lander blue with a chaotic black spiderweb matrix is flawed, but it's priceless. The next time you look at a piece of turquoise jewelry, whether it's a vintage piece from the 1920s or a modern piece from a Tokyo boutique, don't just look at the color. Look at the web. Look at the brown and black lines that cross the blue. Those lines are the history of the earth. They are the iron and the host rock that held the water for millions of years. They are the proof that beauty requires imperfection. Native American artisans understood this. Japanese collectors understood this. The stone isn't valuable despite its flaws, it's valuable because of them. In a world that is increasingly digital, increasingly perfect, and increasingly fake, turquoise remains a stubborn piece of reality. It is soft, it changes, it breaks, it ages. It is just like us. If you want to understand the true value of the Earth's treasures, you have to look past the sparkle. You have to look for the soul in the stone. I'm Cody. If you want to find your own piece of history, your own touchstone to the ancient world, you know where to go. Like and subscribe to Mystic Apothecary, and let's keep digging deeper together.